club in the Phoenix, but you rallied from 14-3 down at the half to win 29-21. What did you like most about the effort from your team?
Yeah, it was another hard-fought CAA game to say the least. A lot of crisp hitting on both sides of the ball. Really evenly matched game when you look at the stats, offense, defense, first downs, obviously total yards, score, all that stuff. Very evenly matched. They got an early start on us. They had a four-play drive that resulted in a touchdown, and then we responded pretty well, but turned it over on downs, and then they had a really long drive. So it was weird. Each team had a couple explosives that got scores in the end zone in like 4 or 5 plays, and then a lot of the game there was double-digit play drives, and we were able to keep their quarterback, who's a really good player, off the field. I think we ended up with the time of possession in almost plus 12 minutes, I think is what happened. We ran about 15 to 16 more offensive plays than they did. So keeping their offense off the field is sometimes the best defense. But our guys, I said it all year, Rob, our guys been playing hard. We went into halftime. We had opportunities to score, but we went into halftime 14-3, as you mentioned. And no panic in the locker room. Guys were just trying to clean some things up. Coaches obviously did a nice job making some adjustments. Guys kept swinging, kept playing hard, and we put a couple drives together and got on the board and took the lead. And then they took the lead back, and then special teams saved us there with Jabril, and got the lead there for good. And still we had the ball. We had an opportunity to end the game on the field, but we came up short and had to go with a field goal, which still kept it within a one-score game, and they had an opportunity to get down the field, and they got down there pretty quickly on the last, under 2 minutes, last minute and 10 seconds roughly, when they got the ball back and they got down the field, and we secured the win with an interception in the end zone by Jamie Tyson. So kind of crazy back and forth a little bit, but hard contested fought game. Guys played hard. And to their credit, Elon's credit, they did the same thing. They, like I said, had a couple drives. We had opportunities. Our place kicker did a great job making 3 field goals, but, I'd like to convert some of those red zone opportunities into touchdowns as opposed to field goals. But hey, a win's a win. We'll take them any way we can get them, and feel real good about it. But that, like I always say, regardless of score, regardless of outcome, there's always going to be positives to build upon and the correctables to make on Sunday. And we did that yesterday, and now we got to get ready for the next one.
Second time in 3 weeks that Jabril has had a kickoff return that's really been the difference in a game. There's certainly a skill set to that. You've had some good ones over the years. What makes him so good at it?
Well, he just makes a decision and goes. You can't dance around back there. You have to, run through the smoke, we say, because it's never blocked. I don't want to say never, but it's rarely blocked perfectly. There's always going to be a guy falling off, or there's going to be, you can't block them all. One of our guys has the ball and they got 11 on the other side. So, and if you put a double team in your system, in your scheme, then you're going to be a couple blocks short. So it just takes a skill set for a guy to, make a quick decision and then just go with it and run through the clutter that's there. And the other guys did their job too. Our guys did a really nice job getting a hat on a hat, and our setup was pretty good because sometimes your blocks are happening too early to where the ball's being caught, or sometimes the blocks are too close to where the ball's being caught and it gets cluttered. So on that particular play, we pretty much got a hat on a hat. They had some guys that maybe didn't hit their correct gap properly and left a little bit of a seam for him to burst through it. And then, I tell him all the time, and he said it before in the William Mary game, if it's one-on-one with him and the kicker, he's got to win that one. He's got to win that one. So, and they had a guy who took a really nice angle, and thankfully, I thought he was going to get pushed out around the 10-yard line, but thankfully, Jabril just was able to, go that extra 10 and get it into the end zone. So he's good at it. It definitely takes someone who has a little bit of a knack for doing those things, and he seems to have that knack that we're looking for. So we're excited about him and being able to do that. I think the last time we had someone do two in the same season was 2010, when Angelo Barbaro did two in that year.
Offensively, you mentioned that you made some adjustments at the half. Your running game was was certainly not poor, but maybe not as much as normal. But man, were you guys able to do some things through the air? Pat was 23 of 31 for 255, and Luke Colella with another huge game, 10 for 125, and a couple of big touchdowns in the third quarter that really kind of flipped the script. Just talk about what those guys were able to do in the passing game.
Yeah, I think Tony and his staff's philosophy was stop the run, kind of like the philosophy that we go into games with. Number zero, who's listed as one of their safeties, was making tackles uh, near or at the line of scrimmage, kind of like a linebacker normally does. I kind of joked with him after the game when I saw him. I said, "You might as well change your position. A linebacker as close as you've been playing to the line of scrimmage." But he's a good player and he's a big guy for a safety. But I think their plan was, let's stop the run. And, we had there's a lot of people in the box. There was a lot of people around the football when we were handing the ball off. And, our guys up front, we didn't block some of the things perfectly. And to their credit, their defense made some really good plays at other times. And I thought there was one where David had a chance to break one open and he kind of got, tripped up, and same thing with Rags. So they ended up making good tackles in a couple of the open field opportunities we had. So it opened it up, and it seems like Pat and Luke are developing some good rhythm now that they've been playing together a little longer. They really just connected for the first time over the summer with both being transfers coming in. Pat was the only one that was here in the spring. Luke didn't join us till the summertime. So their timing seems to be getting better and those type of things. So yeah, double digit catches. I think it was a career high for Luke with 10 receptions, and I think it's his fourth game so far over 100 yards receiving. So he's been a nice addition to the receiving rotation for sure. So, there was a couple other guys, and like I said, both sides of the ball, both sides of us, Elon and us, both kind of hit a couple of those big plays. They hit one in the opening drive. We hit one to Kopecky, for 40 plus yards later on in the game. So, Pat's doing a really nice job. I said it from the beginning. I was really surprised how quickly he was able to pick up our system and our offense. And it's like having another coach out there, and he does a really good job, making decisions and getting the ball in his hand quickly. So we're not standing there protecting all day. But our guys up front gave him time, and he was pretty accurate and put the ball where it needed to go most of the time.
Defensively, you hold Elon to just the one touchdown there in the second half. You mentioned the big interception to end the game from Jamie Tyson, but Turner Inge and Christian Sapp with career days in regards to the number of tackles. What were you able to do to to slow them down? You forced a bunch of 3-and-outs there in the third quarter that allowed your offense to kind of get going.
Yeah, I guess kind of similar game plan to what I just said they were trying to do to us, right? Get our
Yeah.
safeties involved. Christian Sapp being our safety, one of our leading tacklers of the game. Turner being a linebacker. He's been in our program. He's a senior now, so he's been in the program for a while. Had a more of a special teams backup role prior to this year. Now he's on the field a lot more, so you're seeing a lot more of him. He's a really good athlete. He runs well. He played running back in high school. He's now putting on the weight. He's probably closer to 220, 225 now, where, he's probably in that 210, 215 range a lot of his career. But he can run, and he is getting to be a sure tackler for us, which was good to see. Our guys up front are doing a good job trying to occupy as many of the down linemen as they can to allow those linebackers to be freed up and safeties to be freed up to make those plays. And the young secondary seems to be coming along and playing better collectively as well. And we have a lot of personnel grouping. So there's a lot of guys on the field. And we're able to, like I said, keep our defense off the field with some of the longer drives our offense had. So if you're only playing, I think the week before against New Hampshire, I think we played a total of 49 defensive snaps. And I think this week was around 55. So if you're, playing that few of snaps, you can keep guys a little more fresh for, when you got to get it done in the fourth quarter. And I think that's what we've been able to do. So hats off to Coach Pennypacker and the defensive staff for putting a nice plan together. But ultimately, it's up to the players to go out and execute the plan. And that's what they're doing a good job with right now.
After spending quite a bit of time on the road here over the first half of the season, you get to finish with 4 of the last 5 at home. Starts with Hampton on Saturday. As you started to prepare for Hampton, what are some of the challenges they present for you?
Yeah, our guys are in there watching them now. I've been kind of paying a little bit of attention to some of their special team stuff, but Coach Boykin does a heck of a job down there. They're going to have athletes running all over the place. I haven't really gotten their depth chart yet. I usually get that sometime today, and I haven't seen it on the email yet. So, from a size perspective on the interior offensive and defensive line, I got to watch a little more film and get a look at that for me to give you a really good answer. But they're always going to be athletic. They're going to play hard. It's a CAA game. I am excited to finally be back in our home stadium. It's been a little while. It seems like it was only a few weeks ago we played William Mary, but we have had a lot of road games. We had two flights back to back, so that's kind of rare for us. It may have been a good thing because, we kind of got used to it was basically a carbon copy schedule. So from one week to the next, we kind of got used to it. But we're going to have to get ready for guys that are athletic, that can run around. They're going to fly to the football. And like I said, what I see on special teams is what I'm assuming I'll see when I watch the offensive defensive film. A bunch of athletes running around, hitting hard, being hungry, and doing a good job with their execution. So bottom line is, I say this all the time. When we talk, Rob, we got to focus on what it is we're trying to do. We got to fix the things that we need fixing from our perspective. Yes, we'll put a game plan together for Hampton, but we got to make sure we're ready to execute our plan and hopefully go out and try to win all three phases of the game: offense, defense, and special teams.
All right, Mark, thanks so much for doing this with us here this morning, and I look forward to talking to you again next Monday.
Appreciate it, Rob. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Again, for media members on the line,